it down.
Let us bring in somebody who might have a better sense of whether that would happen. Former Senate Majority Leader Trent Lott, Republican from Mississippi. We're thrilled that you're in the chair right now, specifically for all of those reasons. I started to wonder Friday, Senator, whether John Boehner's resignation, and some members of the Republican Party were very happy with it. They applauded during some speeches. Well, I started to wonder, is that going to cause real uncertainty? Do you think that's part of what we're seeing today?
I really kind of doubt that, Liz. I found your segment you just did quite interesting, of course, but Speaker Boehner has handled himself magnanimously, I think, and he's had all the right things to say. I think his successor is obvious. It's going to be Kevin McCarthy, and Kevin McCarthy is going to be a real good speaker, and he'll get the process moving along pretty quickly. He might even have a little mini honeymoon, maybe not that long, but they've got a lot of work they need to do. I think, number one, they're going to get through the end of this month without a government shutdown. They're going to pass a continuing resolution.
Hold on, that's news. You say you believe there will be no government shutdown, even,
absolutely,
sir, in light of the fact that there are the so-called, and this is the Wall Street Journal's term, insurgents on the Republican side who are on the far right. Some are Tea Party, some are others who are pushing for this.
No, you're not going to have a shutdown. There's not enough of them. I think you'll get the overwhelming majority of the Republicans and a lot of Democrats, too, that feel like we need to do what's necessary to keep the government operating so that we can then turn to other very important issues that need to be addressed, like transportation and cybersecurity. So, no, there won't be a shutdown now, and I don't believe there will be one before the end of the year. Now, Kevin McCarthy, as the new speaker, will have to balance a lot of different points of view, but he is a very experienced leader. He'll get the job done.
Okay. Now I want to say what I also heard that you had said this weekend, which really jumped out at me, and we can put it up on the screen. You said to the Wall Street Journal, I was conservative before a lot of these cats were even born, so I'm not going to be lectured by them on what's conservative. First of all, I love that just because it sounded good. I know you wrote the book Herding Cats, A Life in Politics.
Yes, that's right.
You sounded aggravated there with certain members of the party who John Boehner might call false prophets, promising a lot that they can't deliver.
Well, and look, I may even agree with them philosophically because, as I said, I was conservative and working for the Congress when they were born in 67 and 68. I was working on the House side then, got elected, of course, in 72. But they have a lot of important work to do as leadership. But this group is wanting purity and perfection, and it's just not possible in the legislative process. I may agree with them philosophically. I may even agree with them on policy. But their tactics are unrealistic. You can't do what they want to do. And who among us really thinks that a government shutdown is a good idea?
Well, exactly.
We've tried it a couple of times before. Once when I was in the Senate, Bob Dole was the leader, I was the whip. It was not a good idea then. It was not a good idea in 2013 and wouldn't be a good idea now.
Let me just quickly bring up Donald Trump's tax plan, which he unveiled today, and we can put up some of the points. He wants to cut from 7 brackets to 4 individual tax brackets, with a 0% tax bracket for singles who make under $25,000, for marrieds who make $50,000, under $50,000 jointly, and carried interest, repatriation of overseas profits at a better rate, business taxes at 15%. Obviously, we're still at the broad strokes level, but, sir, from what you've heard of Trump's tax plan, could it somehow get through Congress?
I doubt it. If it were a multiple choice opportunity, well, then you could pick and choose. Repatriation, we've got to do that. Should have already done it. We've got to make sure that American corporations pay a rate that's low enough where they'll stay in America and not be incentivized to go to England or London or Brussels, wherever it may be. So some of his programs proposals are good. Some of them are clearly not. I think that his tax plan would cost a lot of money and would not have the growth incentive that we really would like to have.
Finally, the great cross-the-aisle relationships of politics gone by. I'm thinking, obviously, of Ronald Reagan and Tip O'Neill. You had one of your own, Trent Lott and Tom Daschle, the Democratic majority leader. You're writing a book together. What do you think your experiences could teach the so-called cats who weren't born while you were a real Reagan conservative?
Well, when I was Majority Leader, Bill Clinton was the president,
Right,
and my friend on the other side, their leader of the Democrats, was Tom Daschle. And what did we do working together? And by the way, it wasn't easy. It took a lot of work, time, and give and take. But we passed welfare reform, we cut taxes, we balanced the budget, we had a surplus, we passed safe drinking water, telecommunications reform, we raised military pay. What among those is not conservative? And we did it working together. But a lot of the key for me was having somebody like Tom Daschle that I respected, that I tried not to surprise him. We talked back and forth regularly. So much of Washington depends on communication and chemistry. And if you don't talk, and if you don't have a relationship, you're probably not going to get anything done. So we written a book called Crisis Point.
Okay.
That's because I think that's where America is. We got some tough choices ahead. We've got to make them, and we better make them right.
Senator, I want you and Tom Daschle back on the program. I think that's a very valuable message to send. Thank you.
We'll look forward to it.
Trent
Thank you,
Lott,
Liz.
former Senate Majority Leader. He says, I know what's conservative, and he works with the Democrats, too.